Hello everyone, how are you? In today's video, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can improve your models using the Retopology Modifier. So, let's get started. I have this base created of our model. I will leave the link to this base in the video description so you can follow our tutorial. Well, first, about the Retopology Modifier. As you know, the Retopology Modifier is used to create a new mesh from a model, whether it's a heavier mesh or a lighter mesh, if your model has a lot of polygons. In models like this, where we have very few polygons, the Retopology Modifier helps us create a slightly denser mesh, thus make it easy for us to create small details, since to create very small details, we need a denser mesh so as not to add too many lines where we don't need them. And with the denser mesh, it's much easier to create the details in this type of model, right? So first of all, I'm going to add the Open Subdivide modifier here, so you can see how the model is behaving when we add this modifier to smooth the shape. You can see we have some problems here, since the top part should be flat, and the bottom part too. In addition to these details in the back and in the front part of model, which end up being irregular. So, to solve this, we have the Retopology Modifier. I'm going to delete the Open Subdivide modifier and go to add the Retopology Modifier here. By default, it's come with these parameters here. In face count, we have the value of our new mesh. It's come by default, it's 5000. Here below, we have some functions, and I will talk a little about them now. The boolean seams option would be for you to select if your model has cuts created by boolean operations, or cuts like this. Here, we have an area where the shape changes directly abruptly. So, for this model, it's recommended that you enable this boolean seams option. The specified normals option would be for the new topology to follow the normals of the model you created. So, if you want the model to respect the normals of this base mesh, you should select this specified normals option. So let's also check this option, since I want it to respect the model's normals. Below, we have 3 more options. It will be the option to select some edges. If you select an edge, it will keep that edge hard. The angle option and the transfer vertex color option. We will not use that 3 option in this operation. Here, we'll set it to the calculation and check how the mesh will work. It does the calculation very quickly. Okay, it's done. Let's enable our wireframe here. And you can see that it has already recalculated the mesh. I'm going to disable it so you can see the difference. And as you can see, we have some problems here in the lower part of the model, as well as in the upper part, since it didn't respect the normals correctly, even though we selected the normal space option. This happens because the model's normals are not configured correctly. Let's see how we can solve this now. I'm going to apply the reset option here, so it removes our calculation. And I'm going to uncheck our Retopology modifier here. Returning to our mesh, and you can see that in this area here, we have an incorrect normal for our face, since this face as its surrounder should be in the same group here as the normals. So, to fix this, we are going to apply the Smooth modifier. You can add it. I already have it here in my modifier stack, but if you don't find it here, you can go here in the modifier list, just type Smooth and it will appear and working correctly. Here, we have the Auto Smooth option, which will create a smooth on the face automatically. Here, we'll see that almost everything working fine with this option selected, except here inside, where we have these 2 faces in different groups, and also here above. To correct this, I'm going to increase the threshold value. I'm going to set it to 40 and it will automatically correct this face. Here you can see that they are all in the same group. That is, the normal are in the same group. And also down here everything is in the same group correctly. Up here we have the correct separation. So theoretically here we have already corrected everything. All the groups of our normals are in the proper place. So let's use again the retopology and see the result this time, how it will work. I'm going to enable the modifier here, make sure the selection both option, boolean and specified normals, and let's recalculation on new mesh. Okay, here you can see that it has already done the calculation. And unlike the other way, in the upper parts we have no defects, and not even in the lower part of the model does the mesh working correctly. In this area here, we created a detail and we needed it to follow the flow of the mesh according to the details we created. We can see that it didn't exactly follow the contour of our details. This is because we didn't specify the normals for this face of this detail. So, I'm going to apply a reset. Here, above the smooth modifier, I'm going to add an edit poly. Let's go to face mode. I'm going to select only this face that I want it to respect the new topology. Let's go down here to our tools panel. And here, we're going to use the Alt Smooth option. As you can see, it created a new smooth group just for this face, and it's separate from the other face. I'm going to turn it off here. Here you see that they are in equal groups, since the shape doesn't drastically change its normal. And when we enable, we can see that it's now following this new group. Let's enable our retopology modifier and let's do the calculation of our mesh again. Now, as you can see, it's created the flow of the shape here, respecting our detail, and that is what we want. So you can see organizing the face group is essential for you to have a good calculation of our mesh using the retopology modifier. Here, we'll see that the rest is already working correctly. And here, we have our mesh a little denser and suitable for adding small details. Some errors may occur in this new calculation, since this modifier does not recreate the mesh perfectly. For example, as you can see here, some imperfections in the curvature of the model. This occurs because the mesh we created the calculation with had few polygons, so it cannot calculate the curvature of the models perfectly. But to correct this, we have the option of use the relax modifier. I will convert this a new mesh to editable poly. Here, in the list of modifier, we will add the relax. Here, we have the interactions and the value of relaxations. I will put the value of 1 here. It will relax that adds here too, but that is okay. Here, we see that it already corrects the imperfections created by our retopology modifier. I'm going to disable and enable it again. As you can see, this face had some irregularities and now it's working correctly. Now, when adding the open subdivide modifier, we'll see that the models correctly follow the flow of this entire shape, and it's working very well. So, that was today's video, a very quickly video just giving some tips on how you can optimize the use of the retopology modifier with the 3ds Max. I hope you enjoyed the content. See you next time. Bye! Subscribe to the channel, it's very important.